Yes guys, how we're doing? So I'm going to start doing a lot of demo videos on here because I think it's the highest value thing and asset that I can actually give to you based on the recent updates to Claude AI. I've been using Claude AI for 9 months now. I've been banging on about it. I've absolutely rinsed and maximized and in my opinion become a specialist in project management and building out different tools. But we've now obviously got the Claude co-work, we've got Claude Code, we've got Claude Chrome, and alongside all the normal functionality. So I think a lot of the stuff that I'm going to do is just going to be showcasing exactly the type of stuff that I do on here. This video today is called Claude IP Fusion. This is basically how I've been able to replace a agency team with 7 to 8 team members per month with staff wages at circa 30 to 40,000 pound a month to be able to do a done for you service for my one-to-one clients where I can run their entire marketing channels on my own, right? Without any support. I mean, every bit of content, every bit of email, building websites, copy, funnels, content, lead magnets, live workshops, you name it. I could do everything with IP Fusion, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to be doing further videos on loads of different areas. I'm just going to drag this over because as it stands at the moment, you can literally see while I'm sat here, I am currently processing comprehensive business reports for every single one of my clients inside of the community at high level, and that's just running on its own there. So just so some little bit of awareness, you've got chat, you've got co-work, you've got code. The way that you can understand that is chat is just basic functionality, but if you set up projects properly, then you're going to be onto an absolute winner. Co-work is basically an internal computer assistant that you can have, and then code is high level stuff, and we are currently investing heavily into all three of those areas, so just expect a lot of value coming onto this page. So the first thing that I'm going to go through today is basically a little bit of a demo on IP Fusion, because I think it is the single biggest asset that you can start using inside your business for the biggest response straight away. So what we're basically talking about when we've got IP Fusion is how you actually build assets, right, to then compound it into each other. So this is basically something called a logic bank, and the logic bank is basically a step-by-step process that you will basically see in my AI demo videos there, and I've basically got a mastering marketing list somewhere here. So that's mastery project, mastering marketing IP. On here, you've basically got human knowledge, offers, your brand identity, your positioning, your offer, your voice and tone, reflective infotainment, offer, messaging, niche domination. You've got your transcripts, you've got everything. So these are basically pieces of intellectual property that I have basically built into Goat prompts. So if you're in a starting position for a company or things aren't going your way inside a company, I've built out extensive, comprehensive documents and systems that you can use to train AI, right? So if I just went onto offer waterfall, if you were like, I don't really know what my offer is, and it's going to take you 2-3 months or whatever to normally do, you can build an entire offer with the Goat prompts and stuff that I've created. But this is just layer 1. I'm now at level 25 or whatever when it comes to AI use. But AI IP Fusion is an absolutely ridiculous asset that you can use. So when we're looking at Fusion, what this basically means is where you are compounding assets together. So compounding your offer with brand identity, with your voice and tone, with transcripts, with sales calls. And I'm going to show you a few examples today. Sorry, I've got hiccups and I'm not going to restart this video. So this is basically my logic bank, and inside of here you'll see that I've got everything: my brand identity, my voice and tone, my reflective infotainment, my offer. I've got a human knowledge document. I've got my entire book somewhere in here. I've got all of the transcripts of my programs. I've got sales calls and everything else, right? So let's just talk about the stuff that people find really, really fun. So the first thing that I would recommend is that if you were going to go onto here, I would go into starting a new project, and let's just call this high responsive content, right? And then all I'm gonna do from that point, I've got a project, and then what I will do is I will create my instruction inside my project, which I'll insert into there. The demo video that I'm gonna do today is basically how you can create high-level copywriting, messaging and content by hijacking sales call transcripts alongside actually conquering your own story into it as well, which is a bit of a mad merge. So what I'm going to talk about here is, so provide me with a project instruction that focuses on merging IP for high level copywriting needs. I will be stacking multiple documents and knowledge together in the aim of generating leads from content, paid ads, emails, and highly responsive copywriting, right? So all I've basically done there is I've just in 2 minutes just turned around and said like, look, can you just give me a project instruction for the thing that I'm wanting to do? It's taken me 2 minutes to open that project. Right now, while that's generating the instruction that I'll use for this project, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back onto here and I'm going to think about what type of stuff can I use in my business to create high level copywriting, right? So when we're looking at the market in general now, it's going to be things like pain articulation, right? So you've got pain articulation documents there. So I've got one here, I've got pain isolation there, I've got information on my niche. But I think we can go to one level deeper than that. So I've basically got a document here which has got transcripts from every sales call that we've taken. This is an old one, but I've got a new one in another folder. But what I can do here is like, right, sweet, well, I'm not going to guess, right? I'm not going to guess the pain points of the niche and guess the pain points of the businesses that are wanting to work with me. So when we come onto here, you'll see there's loads of transcripts onto that there. That's fun. We've got actually Andrew Roberts, who's just on that one there, who's an absolute legend of a man. I've literally just done a YouTube video with him. So I'm going to get all those sales call transcripts, and then I'm going to wait for this to be done in 1 second, right? One of the biggest and most important mergers that I like at the moment is something called arrowheading content, right? So what we're basically looking here is how can I arrowhead my personal brand, then associate it to the pain of the niche that I'm targeting, and then also integrate my offer into it as well. So content at the moment is performing best from a personal brand driven perspective. So I've done loads of videos on that, so you should know what that is. And if you don't know what that is, you need to go and watch some of those videos there, because if you are leading with just value or just tips or information, it's going to fall on deaf ears now. But that doesn't mean that we still can't layer this in. So if I can lean in with a real experience or a real belief or a real process that I'm going through, and then associate it to their pain, and then associate it to my offer, we're going to be on to an absolute winner. I would say that 80% of my one-to-one, who are all high level businesses, I run their content with that merge, and I'll actually show you the merge in a minute. So as you can see in front of my face, like this is basically looking at structuring everything that we possibly need for a project instruction there. I should have basically I should have probably asked it for a text there. So I'll come to customizations in a minute, and I'll do a video on that. So when you go to settings and then you go on to capabilities down here, you can adjust how the outputs that you want. I've got code execution and file creation on because I'm doing stuff at high level with documents, spreadsheets, presentations, PDFs, data reports, and also HTMLs and apps and everything else. So what I should have done there if I wasn't doing it for video purposes is just asked it to give me in text, but I'll just use this for the time being, right? So if we basically got IP for copywriting, all I'm going to then do from that point is wait for that to load, and then I'm gonna, it's gonna make me, I should have asked for it in text, that's annoying. Don't matter, I'll open it in Google Drive and it'll pop through as a document. And then all I'm basically looking for here, and I could actually load this document in, but I'm just gonna go Control A, copy, I'm gonna go back onto that one there, because all I'm basically wanting is to go onto my highly responsive instruction there and then stick that into here. Right now, what I can do here is we've got these sales call transcripts. The problem that you might have with sales call transcripts, like I've got 481 pages there, and that's only a very, very small percentage of our sales call transcripts that we've got out and we've hijacked. So with that type of process, I'm going to have to load that into knowledge base here. So sales call transcripts, right? So what I can do from this now is I can start prompting. So provide me with the top 30 most repeated and highly responsive pain points that have been mentioned throughout these sales calls, which I can turn into creatives. Just give it back to me as a text list. Right, so little prompt there, like give it back to me as a text list. Don't give it back to me as a document or a PDF or a sheet or whatever, because I've got high level capabilities turned on, so I can pretty much just do anything I want inside of Claude. So what that's going to basically do now is that is going to basically look at the different structures I've got. You can see it's got fitness coaches because these are old transcripts. Obviously we work with all businesses and open businesses now in the last 9 months, but these are just some old transcripts there. So this is now going to run an assessment on every single sales call transcript that I've taken, and it will extract the 30 most repeated and highly responsive pain points, right, that has ever been mentioned on sales calls. That is absolutely ridiculous level IP. So if you're doing this on a week-to-week basis or a bi-weekly basis, then you can be constantly hitting your audience with pain that they are directly saying to you on there. So the thing that I'm going to be leaning into in a minute, right, so as this starts to come through, I'll just go on to that. The thing that I'm going to be leaning into is this merge. So if I'll go over onto Personal Brand SS, and I've got the AI IP Fusion here, you've got something called the Conqueror merge there. So you can read this and you'll see what I mean with the type of content that you can create. So I'm looking to generate 30 content ideas where it uses direct live experiences, beliefs, or emotions I have been through in human knowledge as the core hook. Then I want to associate this experience to the pain of my target niche and situations they have been in. Finally, from that point, I want to connect my offer. The most important position of this is to present itself as a conqueror of that situation and not the victim, right, for maximum amount of relatability. So what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to go back onto my Claude here, right, and I'm going to merge all of these, right, with IP, right. So on my IP drive, what have I got which I can use to present my own stories? Well, I've got my book, right, so I can basically copy that and I can stick that into Project Knowledge, which is going to be a great one. And I'm just going to name this Human Experiences because it's a lot of human experiences in there. I've also got a piece of IP where I've got my human knowledge document on that one there. And then I'm going to go back onto my Claude and I'm going to stick that in there. And then finally, for the merge, remember we want human experience, personal brand, arrowhead, associating it to their pain, and then I want to present my offer at the back end of it, right? So what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to go back onto my IP here and find something to do with my offer. So my offer is here, right? And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick that into there, right? So using the document attached and the IP inside Project Knowledge, and then I'm going to go onto my 30 sales points here. So I want to make sure that that's added into there, don't I? Going back onto that and adding that in. Knowledge here, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto here and I'm going to use this prompt, and this is what I call the Conqueror merge. So this now is going to provide me with content which is going to lean into my own lived experiences, beliefs and processes about life, which is the top thing that you need to be focusing on with content at the moment, with how AI has affected it and also people just doing shit content. It's then going to associate my experience to the direct pain of what someone is going through on an actual call and saying to me on a call, and then from that point it's actually going to come through and present the offer of the back end of it, right? And this is low level stuff when it comes to Claude now, right? With co-work, with code, with Chrome, I'm going to do loads of videos and loads of little tiny wins that you can pull through. But for me, getting my head into merging intellectual property and fusing intellectual property together has been absolutely monumental for the results and growth of my clients, my community, and also my own business, just from using projects right, getting instructions set up right, and then making sure that I'm being smart about the type of stuff that I'm using in there, because you can do this with anything, right? So on this IP Fusion here on my Personal Brand SS, I've got one where it's like compounding IP for campaigns, and in this video I basically just show and state that I will be able to build an entire marketing campaign. So like you've got an overview into a register follower email, into the presentation content, promo emails, promo reels, promo voiceovers, email list retargeting, register. I can do all of that just from compounding from the start point of the overview. So when I run a done for you service for my one-to-one clients now as our Titan program, I mean I can literally just do everything for them. They don't even have to lift a finger. I can build their entire businesses. And this is just from using Claude IP Fusion. This has got nothing to do with co-work and nothing to do with coding or Claude Code. Like, that is different high level stuff. Like, I'm currently investing tens upon thousands of pounds a month into Claude with my own specialist AI team, because it has completely and utterly changed my life. It's changed my business. It's the most exciting thing that I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, this is just taking a little bit longer than what I thought, but what you can actually do is it's starting to visually process it there. So onto this one here, So let's come on to there. So I watched a blind kid in Uganda play accordion perfectly and I nearly broke down, right? So that's a true story of when I were in Uganda at 15 years old, right? And then from that point, I'm talking about the experience. I'm actually going to use these pieces of content, to be fair, because I've never actually done that one before. I'm going to use it. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can see that. So, right, so then the niche pain, you're telling yourself that you can't scale right now because you don't have the perfect system, the right audience, or the size enough time. You're not using not ready as a shield. Right, the offer bridge. The moment that I stopped using obstacles as an excuse, is the moment that I built systems that remove them entirely, and that's what we engineer exactly in your in your business. And then from that point, I can obviously basically just integrate directly into my actual offer at the end of it. So I lost £30,000 to a marketing agency in 6 months, and I felt nothing. There's loads so this will come through as a document when it's done. I don't want to drag this video on for too long because I probably should have just done 10 examples, but that's gone through 30. What number are we on now? So we're on number 28. We'll see what that comes back with in a second. But when it comes to IP Fusion, right, the moment that you have got this type of intellectual property, the moment that you have got your transcripts, like, you can do anything, right? I can hack someone's Instagram, I can hack someone's Loom videos, I can hack someone's website, I can hack anything. I can extract information, and then IP Fusion is basically how you use that to find those 1 to 3% improvements, right? And I'm currently working on building a system with Claude Code that pretty much enables like the most ridiculous thing that I have ever seen, and I will show you at some point, but it's a big secret project that I'm working on. But if you are not currently using IP Fusion with Claude inside your business, I would highly recommend that you do. And if you're interested in seeing what we do at the Coach Consultant, guys, you can pretty much see an overview to everything that we have going on inside here. I've got multiple different programs, so this is the smart scaling system. But if you head over to the www.thecoachconsultant.uk, you'll basically see an overview for who I am as a person, what we do in terms of in-person online events, the 3 different programs I have available, the type of results that we've got, my book, YouTube, podcast, everything. I don't do hard pressure sales, I don't push for stuff. You can come onto here, see if you're interested, and then book a call, guys, with the discovered call link in my bio, and I hope to see you there. Look, and straight away, by the time I finish that, that's now given me 30 different arrowheading, conquering posts where I'm going to be targeting my personal brand first, presenting a story, isolating the pain that they've said on a sales call, and then bridge it to the actual offer that I have inside my program. Absolutely wild, right? I really hope to see you inside the Coach Consultant at some point, because this here is 0.01% of the stuff that I currently have available and what I'm working on, and I'm going to do a lot of videos to try and show you an insight to what type of stuff that you can do as well.